On Sunday, July 12th, 2026, the Dallas, Texas-based radio station KNON held its 6th annual KNON Film Festival at the historic Texas Theater. This festival is dedicated to highlighting and celebrating the unique and underground aspects of Dallas culture, and was organized and programmed by local music producer and DJ Jay Sustain. Okay, so my first question is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Hey there, my name is Jay Sustain. I'm a producer and DJ. I'm also the program director at KNON Now, the streaming station for KNON.
Great. How long have you been working at KNON now?
I've been there for 3.5 years. I started in March of 2023.
Gotcha. And what drew you to KNON in the first place?
Honestly, there was a friend of mine that had done radio work for a very long time, and he was actually offered the job, and he came to me and was like, "I don't want to do it, man. It might be great for you, but I don't want to get back into radio." And so, I thought long and hard about it because I really hadn't done much radio. I've done a lot of DJing and nightclub stuff, but hadn't really done a lot of radio, so I didn't know if I would be the right candidate for that. But I went and interviewed and the rest is history. It worked out, and I've been there 3 years.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going great.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Nice. Yeah. I see you have a music credit in the 2016 film Blind, starring Demi Moore and Alec Baldwin. Have you pursued any soundtrack work since?
Man, I get that a lot actually. People say your music sounds like it should be in movies and whatnot. The reality is that, us as artists, we don't really make that choice. It's up to the director. And so, yes, I have pursued some other outlets, and I would love to do more musical credit. And just yesterday, there was somebody talking to me about making a film and having me do the music. So I'm like, yes, 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 I love that. A lot of my music is cinematic and soundscapey, and I would love to be part of more projects. That particular project came along because a friend of mine, Sasha Lazard, she is a famous singer there in New York City. She does opera and has played at all of the big houses. She actually had me remix a song of hers called Lumiere. And in the movie, Robert Redford had cast her as a singer in a scene, and she was singing the original song Lumiere. And so it just became a directorial choice or an editorial choice to let's let's cut from the live scene of her singing it and then use the Jay Sustain remix as like the backing track for the next scene. So it was just really a connection by way of the original singer.
Nice. That's super exciting.
Yeah, it was. I remember when they called me and they were like, "Bro, we're gonna use your thing in a Demi Moore movie." I'm like, "What?" I mean, like these guys are legends in our lifetime. I mean, Robert Redford, rest his soul. I mean, just passed away this year. But apparently he was very involved in the New York, student scene and film scene, and he was very open to working with a lot of people.
What did it take to organize this year's KNON Film Festival? What did the organizing process look like for getting such an event together?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that's the question, isn't it? It's film fests are not easy. I mean, especially with the parameters that we kind of set for ourselves. Our parameters really limit the capabilities. We want movies about Texas. We want movies about music. We want movies that are culturally appropriate. We want movies that are not readily available on YouTube and whatnot. So once you put all those parameters into play, it makes it more difficult. Um, the process starts with us finding films that we think are relevant, contacting the director to see if it's available, getting a screener to see if it's appropriate for our audience. Does the runtime, fit into what we're planning? Then we got to reach out to the venue to make sure that our choices don't conflict with something else they already have going on. They might have a premiere scheduled or something like that. And then once we lock down the films, we start locking down the panels. Can we get the director there? Can we create a panel that's somehow relevant and compelling to the film that we're showing? That's a big part of it too. And then, all the interviews and the promotion and the graphics. Because we're a radio station, we try to get all those directors, anybody who's going to be on the panel, to also come onto the radio station and help promote the product. I think we deduced that it was approximately 2,000 emails traded over the course of 7 months. If that gives you kind of an idea of what we're talking about.
Wow.
It's a
I'm sorry, I
massive
just need.
amount of communication. I mean, and some films were declined and some films weren't available and some films didn't want to work with us. I mean, there's a lot to be had.
So I see that KNON also puts on music festivals and showcases in the area quite often. What were some of the key differences between running a film festival and running a music fest? And which ones had the highest audience turnout?
Good question. I think with a music band, you're talking about three acts, and then the same applies for the interviews. We get them going in the interviews ahead of time and whatnot. But three acts is three acts, and those are professionals. They show up on time, they do their show, and then that's it. The relationship is tentatively over, basically. When it comes to a film festival, there's just a lot more going on. The panels. A post-film panel is an event in and of itself, right? We've got to have a sound guy, we've got to have the moderator, we've got to have the panelists. If we're doing audience questions, we've got to have another microphone. If the audience member is getting out of hand, we got to deal with it, So when we show five films and five panels, it's 10 events. It's
Hmm.
10 different things going on. It's five movies being scheduled and five panels. So they differ because of the amount of work that goes into each thing. When I book three bands, I don't have to, get up there and babysit them. They're all professionals. But when we have panelists, I got to walk them through how to get on the stage, when to be there. Do you need a water? I mean, a lot of things. We discuss some of the questions we're going to ask ahead of time. So it differs in that way. As far as audience sizes, I think, you know, something like the film festival probably had 400 people over the course of 12 hours, whereas a concert, it's 200 people in 3 hours. They come, they go, is over.
Hmm.
So it differs in that way as well.
Was the festival always at the Texas Theater?
So far, I mean, this is my third one to work and my first one to be the complete organizer. Last year, I did partial organizing, but Dave Chaos, the station manager, kind of did a lot of the heavy lifting. This is my first year to organize it from front to back. Um, yeah, and so it's my third year to work it all together. I believe that the other three were also at Texas Theater.
Got it. And I saw that this was the sixth annual festival. I take it that means the very first one happened during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, I guess so. Like I said, I've only been at KNON 3 years. I'm not really sure. But, a lot of things came out of COVID for KNON. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they were looking for some kind of, what can we do? What do we need to do? Even our streaming station actually was birthed out of the desire to keep DJs out of the studio, to keep them home, and to turn the audience onto a more internet-based streaming station. So, I mean, yeah, COVID definitely altered the operations and probably gave them some new ideas or, some ideas to pursue.
Yeah, the COVID was kind of a scorched earth for a lot of people.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, man, there was a point in the middle of it where I thought we're not getting out of this alive. This is not going to end well. Uh, it actually ended way better than I expected it to be honest.
What are some of your favorite movies you've screened at past KNON Fest events?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Um, we screened a couple that we ended up not signing, and there was one in particular. I don't remember the name of it right off the bat, to be honest. And I could maybe look it up and get back to you, but it was really neat. It was about a rock band, and there was one girl that would come and see them, and she would like lock eyes with the band members, and when she would, the band members would kind of go into a like a trance, and their music got better. And as long as that girl was in the audience, the music was just like, And it was a really great movie, and I wanted to do it. In the end, there were a couple reasons why we didn't sign it. It just it didn't represent Texas. It was a long film, and there were a couple parts in there that we were just like, that really drags down the whole day. So, I mean, there were a lot of decisions on why we didn't do it, but man, it was great. And I think me and the boss both really enjoyed the movie. It just wasn't right for the film festival.
I would
And
love to
same
see
with
that
last
one.
year. There were a couple really cool things last year that I was like, dang, I wish that was available. It's just not available for us. You know, there's a lot of music documentaries that we find out about. Like there's a No Effects documentary, there's a Butthole Surfers documentary. But you know, it doesn't, yeah, it didn't align with us as far as timing goes. Like we couldn't get it until August 3rd, or it's coming out on Netflix on July 21st, you know, so those kinds of things just make it not right for us, you know.
And how do you find the movies that you want to screen?
It's really difficult, to be honest. Like I said, with
Yeah.
all the parameters that we put on ourselves, that really slims it down. But to be honest, I start looking early on in the year, somewhere around February, maybe February 15th. I start saying on Facebook, hey, I'm putting together Film Fest. You know,
Mhm.
anybody, if you got some relevant films, let me know, point me in the right direction. And we start getting leads that way, like friends and industry people say, hey, I'm working on something. Also, I watch the other film festivals. Santa Barbara Film Fest happens very early in the year in terms of other film festivals. It's usually somewhere around April. And then after that, you've got, did I say Santa Barbara? Was that what I said?
Right, Santa
Yeah,
Barbara.
this Santa Barbara Film Festival, that one. And then you've also got Tribeca, which happens sometime in June or whatnot. So we do look at the other film festivals and say, you know, that is good for us or that's not good for us. And then, of course, you know, we reach out to people that we already have relationships with here in Texas and say, you know, do you have anything going on? What do you got? What are you shopping? And so it's really just a matter of keeping your finger on the pulse and also contacting relationships that you've already built. One
Are
of the
there any
films this year, Meet the Noisemakers film, was, you know, it's from a Denton UNT student. It was a student film, but there was an article that came out, and I think it was Denton Weekly or one of the Denton little write-ups. And the more I read about the film, I'm like, this is really intriguing, and I think this might fit our audience. And so I contacted her, and she goes, "Oh yeah, thank you so much." And so that really just came out of me seeing an article on Facebook.
are there any films you wish you could have screened but couldn't for whatever reason?
Absolutely. You know, there was one about the uh, physical, I don't know what to call her, a physical therapist or whatnot, but back in the 90s, there was a woman named Susan Powder, and she would get on TV and jog, and, you know, she was a fitness guru and whatnot. And she wrote books and did tons and tons of work. And in the end, her contract basically barred her from getting any money. And the film is about how she kind of got screwed by her contract. And she's from Texas, so I thought there might be like a connection. And we worked hard to get that film. And in the end, it just wasn't going to be available to us at the right time, and just didn't work out.
Damn, that's a bummer.
I know. It's like, man, I really liked that story. The screener was beautiful. Just, it was timing. It's really about timing. You know, it seemed like it was going to
Yeah.
be on Netflix like the day before our festival. So it's
Oh.
like it doesn't work for us.
And my last question is, who are some of your favorite local filmmakers?
I don't have my fingers so close on the pulse of the
Hmm.
local scene to know, but man, there's some really good ones.
Hmm.
Timothy Stevens is an incredible producer, and he directed and produced the church documentary about the church. That was really great. The Stark documentary that we showed yesterday was created by Michael Caine and of M3 Films, and Michael, everything that he's done is great. One of the films we showed yesterday, thank you for listening, was directed by Bob Ray, who's a well-known film director, and also Gene Galarno. And Gene joined us yesterday for a panel. He's Texas based, I believe, Grapevine. So those are the guys that I know of right off the bat, but I'm sure there's more that I'm missing. I mean, just about every film that we showed yesterday was Texas based. Also, Russell Hobbs did his, kind of debut take on making a film, and we showed that yesterday, the Deep Ellum Round Pegs Square Holes film. So Russell's going to be on my list of people to reach out to in the future. He did a great job on his film as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming out today.
No problem. Thanks for asking me, man.
Anytime, anytime.